Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at Google L, CMG, BABA, and Goldman Sachs. We file the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. If you like these videos, go to my website. They're free. Or click down here in the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Traders, if you're looking for a new broker, check out venomtrading.com/promo/StockBookie. All right, guys, let's get into Google L daily chart down $12.13. 2 million shares traded on the day, so it was an all right day with volume. But bottom line, we came off this pivot high. We're holding these lows, the 996 or the 1,000 even number. We get a nice bid on the markets, gap up to get it back above the 50, the 20, and the 200 MA. So it's in a bullish stance, guys. Going sideways now, setting up in a micro bullish pattern. So going into earnings, 50-50 shot, guys, going up or down. We're right into the 50% retrace as well. We filled the gap up here. So right now I think we're chopping around and everything's going to be on pause until we get some earnings and get some direction in these markets, guys. Bottom line again, SPY sells, everything sells. SPY moves up, everything pretty much moves up, unless it has earnings or some news out there that can drive it higher or drive the price lower. So again, we're looking for this area here, gap fill, trend line. This thing pops up, it's got some good resistance up here, 750, 618 on the retrace from this high. Actually, no, let's go a little bit. Let's take it. We're going to take it from the low pivot here. So let me put this here. So we're actually, I want to go off this pivot there. So yeah, we're right into the 50% retrace. So it could go either way, guys. But earnings coming up on these big players. Let's see which way these things could possibly go. Let's look at the weekly chart real quick. Weekly chart, same thing as the other ones. Look, down, sideways, nice retrace. Down, sideways, nice retrace. Let's see if we just go down, sideways. But again, earnings coming up, so it could go anyways, 50-50 shot, especially when you're in the 50% retrace as well. So right now, waiting on earnings, see what happens. If it pops, we'll be shorting. If it drops, we'll be looking for areas of good support for possible long positions. So weekly chart again, okay. Weekly volume, not the best, not the worst. But couldn't get it back above the 20. Still a little bit of a bullish stance being above the 50 and the 200 MA as well. So let's keep an eye on this one inside this bar still. It's all that matters. Big deal. You got to get above the 1778 pivot. You get above that, then new higher highs, and then we're going for the 1200 number. Maybe the gap up. I mean, it's only 100. What is it? They're 23 bucks away or so. All-time high. So we'll keep an eye on that, guys. Google L. Nothing wrong. We'll go into earnings, see which way this thing can go, and then possibly put a trade out for it. All right, let's go into CMG. So CMG, guys, weekly chart. Oh, great chart. But remember, we talked about the 50 MA. We talked about this trend line. See how each time it kissed it, came back and closed. Tried to go up, came back and closed. Tried to go up, came back and closed. This is great resistance right here. If we do pop through there, possibly on earnings, man, you know, I'd say it easily, probably, I'm going to say 400, maybe 420, 425 in here. Ultimately, if it gets up into this area, the 496.99 or this double top here, this is a spot you want to short this thing. So let's see if this bullish pattern plays out. Still slightly bearish, being down sideways, kind of in this channel. You know, this is setting up for lower prices. If this closes below the 20 MA on a weekly close, then we can possibly go retest these lows down here. But right now, going sideways like this on the weekly chart, this could possibly be setting up for higher prices. It was down a little bit today, 651 or 1.92%. Volume was okay, 802,000 shares traded on a day. Let's go to the daily. Daily again, same thing, up, sideways, great bullish pattern, guys, but still down, sideways in this channel. And now we're kind of failing again. We have a little tail here where twice, boom, comes right back in. Boom, comes right back in. So again, going into earnings, guys, there's nothing to do. We did take shorted calls right here for a nice little gain. We didn't do it here. I'm just going to let this one go. Let's see what earnings happens, and then if it pops, we'll short it. If it drops, we'll look for areas of support, basically. Or I don't know if I'll short it. We might do write some calls or short some calls. You have a great gap fill up in here, too, around 459. So I don't know if it gets there, but just keep an eye on this one. As long as it's above the MAs, guys, still a little bit bullish. Needs to get back above the 350 area. If it could get back, if we could do that, get above the 350, 350, 35 area, or this little pivot right in here, then maybe higher prices. We'll see. Maybe they run it up into earnings, and then it's sell the news event. We'll see. But right now, that's not a bad pattern. But overall, it is bearish with a micro bullish pattern in it. And volume's been okay. Nothing great, guys. So keep an eye on that as well. The volume tells a lot in what's going to happen in the stock in the future, guys. All right, let's look at BABA. So BABA daily chart coming off this high pivot. They all look the same. They got this trend line. You got the 750. You got the huge gap fill right around 195. And let's going to say it's got to get above 200 before it goes higher, guys. Consolidation's been okay. We have the up move, kind of chopping, but it's slowly just kind of, you can almost make a little slight head and shoulder out of this, but we'll see if it see if it keeps going come next week. Because right now we need another little bit of retrace and then right back down. So, anyways, big trend line. Retrace to the 50 retrace right here, still above the 200 and the 20 MA, so still slightly bullish, up a little bit of sideways action, but still down sideways in a bearish manner. A little bit of a micro bull here, but we're going to see how this holds. If it holds the MAs, then it should possibly grind higher if the markets move higher. We're down a little bit on the day, 1.26% on 14 million shares traded. So again, volume was okay. Just need more, guys. Let's see on the weekly. So on the weekly, tells me a little bit different story here. You got 3 weeks down, nice retrace to the 50% or the 50% retrace, and got to get above the first step above the 183.93, second step above 191.19, third step 200. If it can't get past this first red candle, then I'm just going to expect a little more consolidation down in this area and then possibly downside. Again, BABA has earnings coming up. Could go either way. We're going to have to watch for that. I'm not really doing anything with this one unless if it drops real good or pops real good, then we'll possibly put a position on. But other than that, nothing to do in this one, but I like this down sideways action. This thing goes for another 5, 6, 7 weeks, guys. That could be some massive downside coming into this one. Let's look at the monthly real quick. It's not the monthly isn't over yet, but yeah, still extended. Look at that one. Jeez, holding on for dear life. Your big area on this one is about the 165 area. That thing cracks, it's going to be lights out for this one. 143, here we come. All right, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs daily chart. Volume was it 2.9 million. Down to 21 on the day, or 0.87%. So a little bit up after hours. No great shakes, but again, comes back down, has a nice bearish pattern, starts to float. Volume kind of pretty consistent with here. It's been lighter back in this area, but lightens up, chops around, gets to these areas. Look at that gap down. I think they had earnings possibly. Just good earnings supposedly, and it still can't catch a bid, guys. So back below the 20 MA, a little bit of a weaker stance. Still holding on for dear life though. But if this area, I'm going to draw a trend line. I'm going to put one right about there. You got a trend line here. Then you have the 200 MA, and you have the 750 too. So great support. If you crack through this and this little double bottom here, easily back down here, and then gosh, there's got to be a gap to fill somewhere here. 230, there's a gap fill. Down in here, there's a gap fill, little pivot around 214. But this area breaks though, guys. This is some, pretty good turbulent action. Up, down. And these are pretty big moves. 275, 244, guys. Great trading vehicle. Just like that, just like AMD, guys. And just can't get going on earnings. Everyone's like, oh, here we go. And it just can't catch a bid here. Every uptick is met with selling pressure, and this could be talking to us, guys. So keep an eye on Goldman Sachs and all the banks in that case. Weekly chart hanging on, but just like the rest of them, big inside bars, chopping around inside it. Oh my gosh, this is a great bearish pattern. Again, we did have earnings, and we're going into earnings season, so Man, I love this pattern. Now, let's see if we can retrace back up to like the 266. And if you're not short Goldman, that's where you start shorting this thing. If it goes up again a little bit more. Here would have been a pretty good area. But here, gosh, again, I'm sitting on my hands, guys. I'm trying not to trade too much. We put on a couple positions in the last couple of weeks, nothing crazy, but we've been doing all right. But got to slow down, take it easy. We have a lot of winners in the last couple of months. Let's just enjoy the gains and see where these stocks going. But my gosh, I love this down sideways pattern. For downside, guys. Had earnings, we got past this one. I still think 200 bucks. Unless we get above this high pivot around the 267.15 and then go for this. If this pattern goes another 6 weeks sideways inside this bar, wow, if that doesn't set up going down, then we're going to new all-time highs, put it that way, guys. But we're holding this area. Let's see what happens next week in the weekly close, and that will tell us more on Goldman Sachs. Or the volume was pretty good. It had earnings, so the volume kicked up on this candle. But let's keep an eye on these financials, guys. The apples, too. Apple was the rotten apple today. Nice pullback on Apple. A lot of the leaders are not leading right now, so be very careful in these markets. So, all right, guys, that's Goldman Sachs, and that's it for this video. Thanks again for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. God bless. See you on the charts.